Hi guys, welcome to One UX One, the channel that helps you become a great UX designer. So today we're going to look at portfolios. One of the most stressful parts of getting that UX job is to build that portfolio. So I've gathered some great examples of UX portfolios. Just a little intro to the portfolios. People sometimes choose to create a website. Sometimes you can just create a PowerPoint or use an app like Canva, which is really great. Or you can create a PDF. So there's different formats you can do it in. And then you'll normally share it out with employers or agencies, and they will share out your portfolio with any job prospects that might come your way. So what's a good portfolio? So let's have a look at some portfolios, and then that way we can really look at some real life examples. So guys, the first portfolio we're going to look at is Emily Young, and she's a product designer, which also means UX designer. And she's used Xfold.io to create the portfolio. That's a website you can use. And she's started with quite a lengthy description of the customers. And then she goes on to the project background. So, and then her role, project goals, business goals, picture of herself actually working. That really helps. And what was the roadmap for the journey, showing a bit about her schedules for the day, and lots of more interesting pictures of her work and the team she worked with. It's really key to get those pictures. So if you're volunteering somewhere to do your portfolio, then make sure you take lots of pictures. Take extra pictures, there's no harm, doesn't cost anything, but you will use them and take them landscape and horizontal and vertical landscape and vertical pictures. And then she's describing practically, and this is the thing about your portfolio, you've got to describe what you actually did in the real world, what your job was. It's not just about fancy pictures and wireframes, but actually, how do you deliver? And that's what they want to know with the portfolio. The portfolio is your story of how you work, how you solve problems. So here she's written the workshop format, which is great. So how she does work, how she did a low fidelity prototype, which I'll teach you on this channel. The feedback that she got. So the whole process really end to end. Here's the website that she worked on. And then the testing that she did with the users, whether they liked it, what was the main feedback, great. What else she took away, what were the learnings from her work and the feedback from the users, and then screenshots of the website that she made. So that's really, really great. And then she goes on to different pages that she designed. That's really what employers are looking for. And she's even mentioned recommendations, and she's done cross-device. So she's even shown the mobile images of the same website, because nowadays most likely you're going to be working cross-device anyway. So usually be laptops or desktop, mobile, and iPad or tablet. So and then she's got a working prototype here. You can actually, I don't think you can click no, but you can go up and down. So she's taken that from a wireframing software, and then she's brought it in. Another thing that really employers want to see in a portfolio are your stats. So what did you improve by what percentage? They really want to know that. So here, 60% increase in users, 41% increase in follows. So it might be about subscriptions and follows, and organic growth. So how did it naturally, exponentially grow or naturally grow? What's actually happened in terms of its growth due to the SEO in the background? Has that really made a difference? So let's look at another one. Katrina Harth, who's a UX and UI designer. And now if you're talented like that and you can do UX and UI, there's a lot of jobs out there. There is this debate going on about whether we should have people that can do both, or should people really specialize in one area and do a better job. But that's up for discussion. But there are plenty of jobs for UX/UI designers. Here she describes the project descriptions are similar to what Emily has done. The rationale, what was the reason for the project? What was the actual problem? So she mentions what sustainable clothing in the fashion industry, the objectives, the challenges, and her role. And usually you'll mention in the portfolio who you worked with as well. So who was it that you worked with? And then you map the problem, i.e. do your research, and then you normally run a workshop, and you can add a picture of your workshop there. What's the storytelling? What is the story of the brand? What we're trying to, the message that we're trying to give, the community, the customers, and the sales increase. So that's the area that they want to work on this story, this project, and then implementing the results. And then some key words that she's put here to highlight her persona. Who was the customer, the typical customer? Sophie, a medical assistant. And then her user flow. So she's put in work that she did and added it as it's an evidence of what she's done and how she's done it. Then you put your sketches, your paper sketches. You could do that on something like InVision as well, freehand if you want. And then the next part, progression in that story, the progression of the UX process from the sketch to the wireframing, and then she's describing the end-to-end process, and then the final product. So she's showing everything that she's done. And when, as an employee, if you look at that, you'll be like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. They know how the UX process works, and they can solve problems. So let's look at another one. Mina Izad Pana, I hope I said that correctly. This is about a subscription service. So this is a slightly different type of UX design, but she's started with an image straight away, which is really attractive. And she's actually started with the finished product rather than starting the other way around. You can do it either way, it's up to you. But here she's showing the finished products of some of the work that she's done. So she's chosen 3 projects, which is typical to have 3. More than 3 is too much, and less than 3 is not usually enough. Katrina Hearth, she's put her 3 projects, and she's written a profile about herself that she used to be an art director, and she loves UX and UI. She's been working in advertising for 7 years. Why should you mention that? Because if you've been in advertising, you know marketing, you probably know branding, so that really helps. That's a transferable skill set, which I discussed in my other video. So subscribe, please, and watch the other videos. And so she's describing that working in the agency and what skills that may have brought for her. So Eric, Zelinga, and Ava. I don't know if that's 2 people. It's put Ava is a senior pup and cuddler who dreams of all the chickens, so it's just put his pet. Mentioned the pet. But this one is not as clear to navigate. So make sure if you're going to create an online portfolio that the UX design of it is also good. But there is, there's an about me, the work. Okay, so here's the work. Still pictures of the dog. Where's the work? You got to click on it. Okay, it wasn't very clear to me, but let's have a look at some of the work. So also you can mention the cross-device, so you need a password. So that's another thing. A lot of UX designers do not want everyone to see their portfolio, so they put a password and then you send that on via email to whoever you're applying to. So this is quite common to have a password for your, so I can't access that one, but that's another thing to note. You should set a password if you want to keep that private. Marcela Diaz, UX and UI designer and a visual designer. So here, really clearly, Marcela Diaz, UX UI designer, she's put some of her work straight away. You can see it at the top, just below the fold, and lots of examples. And also she's mentioned other skills like print and branding. So that's really great. Web design. So she's showing all her skills in her portfolio. Again, so any transferable skills you've got, mention them in your portfolio. Here she's talking about some of her work. And then let's look at Bilal Qasim, can you keep quiet, please? I'm filming. And then we've got Alyssa Santa Maria, and a Sydney-based UX designer, and she's got a degree in psychology, which we do talk about cognitive psychology, psychology of colors. So that's a great skill set to have, and definitely mention any degrees you've got, anything you've done in any job. And most jobs are transferable, any skill you have, whether it's people skills. I've got a video on that, the transferable skills in UX. So you've all got something that you can use in UX design. Even customer service is a great thing to know about for UX design. And here she's put some examples of her work, and what have we got next? Ray. So Ray has put up, it seems they're using a similar template with the 4 boxes. Okay, you've got more here actually. Yeah, okay. LinkedIn link there, so add your LinkedIn profile link here if you can. And again, as a description of 4 years in the UX industry and CX industry, customer experience, a bit about design thinking, and where's the work? So let's see, strategy, 2020 strategy. So this is good because this portfolio is up to date. Sometimes you have a portfolio that's outdated, so make sure if you can. But sometimes people, they don't get time to update their portfolio, so they create one, and they've done a lot of work since that portfolio was created, but they just never had the time to update it. So that can happen as well. And then you've got Storm Sampson, a designer. It doesn't say UX designer, but I assume it's a UX designer, but no projects to show. This seems incomplete at the moment. Maybe this is a prospective UX designer, so somebody who wants to be a designer, so they've just started the work but they haven't finished it. So they've written designer, design digital service to make life simpler, and looks like it's not finished yet, but somebody's starting on a project there. But that's a good example because that might be yourself starting off, and you could use the same website to create your portfolio. There are a lot of free ones out there as well that you can use, or you could simply create a PDF, add a password to it, and share that with employers or agencies. It's up to you how you want to do that. But the message is, show your process, show your solutions in your portfolio. I hope you enjoyed that video. Remember, this is 1UX1, the channel to become a great UX designer. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.